Pokémon is a lot of things. Pokémon is about catching monsters, raising and fighting with them. It's about building a strategy and team that can conquer anything that comes your way. But putting intricate gameplay aside, Pokémon also tells a story. A lot of stories, in fact. Some of these stories are more complicated than others, but no matter what, each Pokémon game has a story to tell. And perhaps the most driving forces in these stories are the rival characters that you face. I've been thinking about what sorts of things our rivals go through, whether alone or alongside us on our adventures. Whether it's intentional or not, every rival in Pokémon offers a lesson to be learned. I decided it would be interesting to try and come up with one big takeaway from each major Pokémon rival. Something you can say that you learn thanks to that rival. Some of them are broader messages, while others get more specific. So let's sit down and take a look at what sorts of things we've learned from our beloved rivals in Pokémon. The classic, the fan favorite, the guy who's always one step ahead of you, no matter what. But despite always seeming to keep ahead of you on your adventure, one thing never changes. You always win. His Pokémon are strong, but you're always coming out on top. This guy was custom made to make you feel good as a kid. The snarky childhood friend is always ahead of you, but you still beat him anyway. Even when he takes the throne of champion, you're just a few steps behind it to take the title right out of his hands. For a guy who's always ahead of you, why does he lose so much? Well, the original Kanto experience paints a very clear picture for you, which ultimately is the lesson to be learned from Blue. Being Pokémon are not tools. Even Oak gives Blue an absolute earful over the way he treats his Pokémon. No matter how strong you are, if you don't treat your Pokémon with love and care, you're gonna lose. Pokémon being used as tools is a very common theme that gets brought up again and again through not just the games, but the anime as well. But Blue is the OG who started that trope. Thankfully, Blue took this lesson to heart and he grew up into a stand-up trainer with a team full of loved Pokémon, and he did it all without losing that smug attitude of his. I know not everyone is the biggest fan of the Let's Go games, but I have to say that Blue is one of my favorite aspects of them. Since he's portrayed as already having gone through his development since the original games, through the Let's Go adventure he acts as a role model and helps out the protagonists through their own Kanto journey. It's super sweet. If the professor won't give you a Pokémon of your own, then naturally, you should just steal one. I think Silver made a huge impression on us as a rival, cool enough to waltz out of a lab with a stolen Pokémon in hand. But actually, stealing Pokémon isn't quite the lesson I had in mind with him. Silver tells a somewhat similar story to Blue, treating his Pokémon harshly and only learning through failure that you need to treat them with love and respect if you want to unlock their true power. Silver illustrates his growth in a much more identifiable way, however, allowing you to see his Golbat evolve into a Crobat through friendship once Silver starts to treat his Pokémon with love. But if we want to take something unique from Silver, we can look at his relationship with his father. A lot of Silver's struggles seem to draw from his estranged relationship with Giovanni, and he always seems to walk in the shadow of his father leaving him. He always shows a strong hatred for Team Rocket, more so than other people, and it makes sense. These goons are running around causing trouble all over a campaign to try and bring back the man who left his own son to fend for himself. It's easy to dislike Team Rocket, but Silver's resentment towards the organization stems from a much deeper place than others. So I would say the lesson to be learned from Silver is that you are in no way defined by who your parents are. Mistreatment from parents is something you carry with you for a long time, and it's a hard thing to let go of. But it's important to remember that you are still your own person, and you deserve to be happy. It really is a wonderful thing to see Silver both learn to love and care for his Pokémon, and be able to find happiness for himself despite his past with Giovanni. I feel like there's a sentiment that goes around the internet that May and Brandon don't have any real character to them. And well, I mean, you only fight them like 5 times in the entire game, and 2 of them are optional, no less. So you really only have to mandatorily fight them like 3 times. I don't think mandatorily is a word, but I just made that up right now. So at the time, it was quite the change of pace from Blue and Silver. May is sweet, friendly, and generally non-imposing on your adventure to become champion. But is there really anything wrong with that? No. Sometimes in a world of rivals who call you weak and smell you later, sometimes you just need a friend. To me, a lesson to be learned from May and Brendan is that you can always return home to those you love. The scene that sticks out the most to me is the ending of Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where you get a touching moment with Brendan as the 2 of you walk back to Little Root together, where your adventure began. It's humbling to think that after everything, all that's left to do is return home and spend some time with those you love. You had a big adventure. You deserve to rest a little. I've seen people say that Wally is more the main rival in Hoenn than May and Brendan. And I think that's a nice thought, but you still really only battle Wally like twice in the main story. However, that doesn't change the fact that I do very much view him as a rival because he tells a much more inspiring story than your hometown friends. Wally's lesson is very straightforward. Nothing should hold you back from your dreams. Even in the face of illness and defeat, Wally stood back up and ran away from home to become stronger. It's said that his Pokémon lit a fire in him and gave him hope to live for. In Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you can even measure his progress real time by monitoring the Hoenn News Network as they report him taking on gym after gym. All of this culminates with his showdown against you in Victory Road, which to some people is one of the most iconic Pokémon battles in the entire series. With his Pokémon by his side, Wally kept fighting, desiring to get better, stronger, and take the title of champion. Even if you still claim victory in the end, Wally's progress and recovery is breathtaking to see, and it's an inspiring reminder to not let anything hold us back in life. Barry is your hyperactive childhood friend who will not hesitate to fine you $1 million whenever he feels like it. But through the excitement of Barry's always on the move personality, I think he teaches an interesting lesson that everybody in life grows through experiences in their own way. Barry is always one step ahead of you, not because he's better than you, but because he's constantly in a hurry to get through the gym challenge. He's impatient and gets ticked off easily whenever he's made to wait. When he gets defeated by Jupiter, he does see a change in personality, becoming a lot more mature and realistic in his expectations. But does that change his hyperactivity and fast attitude? At its core, no, it doesn't. Barry is Barry, and that's okay, because Barry has a heart of gold. He cares about you as a friend so much that he almost sacrificed getting his own Pokémon by shifting all the blame onto himself when confronted by Rowan. He helps you take down Team Galactic in the Spear Pillar, and deep down, he does all of his training just to live up to his dad, who he loves dearly. A lot of people view Barry as being too hyper, fast, unruly, but that's just Barry, and that's how he gets through life best. Whether you take things one step at a time, or want to hurry through to the end, that's up to you. And as long as you still grow from life's experiences, everything's gonna be okay. Everyone handles things differently, and I think Barry illustrates that very well. Take on the gyms, collect 8 badges, and become the champion. That's what almost every kid setting out with a Pokémon is told to do, but not every trainer who embarks on this journey follows that path to the end. Generation 5 told a revolutionary story of the first ever rivals in Pokémon that don't actually end up wanting to become a champion like the trainer. Cheren and Bianca both struggle with their goals in life, Bianca realizing that she isn't strong enough of a trainer to become champion, following her truth. And Cheren is in a constant pursuit of strength, but realizing he doesn't know what he truly wants out of such strength, following his ideals. In the end, Cheren ends up becoming a gym leader, finding he can use his strength to guide new trainers along their own journey. Bianca becomes the professor's assistant, realizing she can still contribute to the world of Pokémon even if she isn't a trainer. Pokémon games did very little exploration of occupations outside of trainers up until now, and I will forever be thankful for Cheren and Bianca for teaching us that it's okay to take different paths in life. You don't have to stick to the norm and follow what you're told you should do. Find what works best for you in life and what makes you happy and pursue it, even if it's the road less traveled. X and Y took a page from Unova and Hoenn with their rivals, I'd say. They're really just good friends who travel with you on your adventure and have different goals in mind. For example, Trevor wants to complete the Pokédex, so that's his unique goal in life. Tierno, well, he likes dancing, and he wants to form a team of dancing Pokémon. And Shauna? She's bisexual. Go Shauna! Okay, in all seriousness, the XY rivals do not do much, and that's just the truth. The other player character's rival, whether it be Serena or Callum, does challenge you throughout the game like a rival would, but they don't really do anything that stands out from the other rivals in the series. So, in struggling to come up with something to say about the XY rival group, I think a lesson to be learned from them is that everyone has their own strengths. Like Trevor's strength is Pokédex completion, and Tierno's is dancing, and Shauna's is being bisexual. Oh, also she likes puzzles. This comes into play at the very end of the story climax, where she solves a puzzle to open a door for you. Thanks, Shauna. You're a real one. I love Hao. He's such a sweet kid. It's impossible to not be in a good mood when he's around. I think Hao is one of the most important rivals in Pokémon, and let me tell you why before you start to question me. He pushed a lesson that no other rival before pushed quite so hard. Pokémon isn't all about winning. In the face of defeat, Hao always has a smile on his face. Gladion questions why Hao isn't upset over losing to him, and Hao tells him simply, he had fun, so it's okay that he lost. Another aspect I like about Hao is that, unlike a lot of other rivals, Hao is actually always one step behind you, not ahead. He's always playing catch-up to you. I once read a post that described Hao as the representation of a kid playing Pokémon for the first time, and we're his rival. We're always one step ahead of him, and we're always stronger than him. But it's okay that he loses because he's having fun, and that's all that matters. What a ball of sunshine! I love a rival that pushes the importance of fun, regardless of the outcome of a battle, and that's why I find Hao to be such an important rival in the series. Gladion has one of my favorite teams out of any rival, because all of his Pokémon are purely friendship-related evolutions. Most notably is Ace, type Null, but also Sneasel and Golbat. By his final battle in the main story, when all his Pokémon have evolved, he also has a Lucario, but we never see him with a Riolu. Unfortunately, the Ultra games kind of messed this up a bit by giving him a Zoru, but we're not gonna focus on that. Anyway, the main point here is that I love Gladion's team of friendship Pokémon because their lack of evolution until the end doesn't actually reflect how Gladion treats them. Unlike Silver or Blue, Gladion shows no signs of mistreating his Pokémon or treating them like tools. So in the case of why they don't achieve their friendship evolutions until the end of the game, I like to believe it's actually a matter of Gladion not fully trusting or connecting with them. Maybe a hesitation to allow himself to fully rely on them. He ran away from his home in order to protect his sister and type Null from his mother. These life events may have made Gladion hesitant to become attached to others or work with others, even his own Pokémon. But by the end of the story, he does end up asking you for help with rescuing Lily from his mother, and maybe this becomes a turning point in his ability to trust other people. By the time Lily is safe and you're heading up to the Elite Four, Gladion is finally able to show you a smile. and take you on with a team of fully evolved friendship Pokémon. I love this, because it shows a disconnect of friendship Pokémon being unable to evolve in a unique way we haven't seen before. So ultimately, I think a unique lesson to be taken from Gladion is that it's important to allow yourself to trust others, and to open your heart to those who love and care about you. Let's talk Hop. There's actually a lot to take from this kid because he's one of the most realistically written rivals in the series, and the lesson I can pull from him is pretty obvious. Don't live in the shadows of your family. Hop loves his brother so much. It's so sweet, and he spends the entire game wanting to live up to his name. He's on an adventure with you to become champion, and he works really hard to achieve that dream. But is that really Hop's dream? Does Hop really want to be champion? Maybe in the moment he does, but in reality, he doesn't. It's not the path meant for him, but he's chasing it without second thought because he doesn't want to muddy his brother's name. And this really messed with the poor kid. But by the end of the gym challenge, and by the end of the post-game story, he finally figures out a path for himself in life, aspiring to become a Pokémon professor. A path completely out of his brother's shadow, one that he chose for himself, after actually thinking for himself. A path that's unclouded by the desire to live up to his family. You need to do what makes you happy in life, and that isn't always going to be exactly what your family wants or expects of you. And that's okay. Bede deserved so much more. He did. He deserved a grand remix for his return in the Champion Cup, and he definitely deserved far more screen time than he got. But regardless of that, he is a brilliant rival. As the first boy fairy-type specialists, they really went all out. Introducing a smug new psychic-type rival to throw him into a fairy-type boot camp and come back out a sparkly fairy master was just incredibly done. But Bede didn't just come back as a fairy-type master. He also came back as a happier person all around. He can act like he didn't want to do it, and it was horrible and he had an awful time, but the truth is, you can tell how much happier Bede looks and feels now that he isn't living to please the chairman. The lesson to be taken from Bede is pretty simple. It's okay to learn a little humility. Sometimes it's exactly what you need to shake off your perfect, smug boy attitude and all around learn to be a happier person. So that's that. There's a few rivals I couldn't get to since I was struggling to write something meaningful for them, and the video was already becoming a bit of a bigger project for me. But I hope you all enjoyed what I had to say and agree that there's a lot you can actually learn from Pokemon rivals that can be applied even to real life situations. If you have any thoughts, like your own ideas of what you learned from rivals or even other characters in Pokemon, or if you even have some points for rivals I didn't cover, please throw it down in the comments. I would love to read it. Thank you all for your patience while I was working on this video, and I hope to see you again soon. Alrighty, have a great day everyone.